Welcome to our webinar, The Impact of Virtual Reality Across Industries. To start with, virtual reality, when it started, we immediately associated it with gaming. And thanks to those gamers who were the fastest and the earliest adopters, we have reached the stage where we are today. At HTC Vive, we didn't stop here. We have extended the XR world into different verticals under our enterprise business, from training and education to collaboration and visualization, up to location-based entertainment, healthcare, and many more verticals. Today, we're very excited to bring two pioneers from different verticals who joined together to form a young, energetic company looking into the future of the XR business, where they will talk about the impact of virtual reality across industries. Whether you are an individual evaluating to incorporate XR within your organization, or if you are a small and medium business or a large enterprise looking to be at the forefront of technology, I would urge you to listen very carefully to the advices that these gentlemen will give us out of their experience engaging with the small and medium businesses up to large enterprises and even government institutions implementing complex XR projects. With me, I have Dimitri Doshani. Dimitri is the general manager of NNTC, and he's been holding this position out of the UAE with the focus on innovation and digital transformation projects. In this highly demanding world where he specializes in VR, drones, AI, Industry 4.0, and many more. Before that, he managed and had different roles between NNTC, JBM Oman, and IBM in the region of Eastern Europe and Asia. And he achieved remarkable results, successfully developing and deploying a strong relationship with largest clients in different sectors in this region. Welcome, Dimitri. Also, I have with me Ilya Simonov, who's the Director of Immersive Technology at NNTC. Ilya has been working in the field of immersive technology for more than 7 years. And earlier, he was engaged in the design of space navigation systems at the Research Institute of Roskomov in Russia. He specialized in instruments and systems of orientation, stabilization, and navigation. Ilya is an expert in the development and integration of VR and AR projects. And with his team, he's developed different simulators based on immersive technologies. He overlooks the entire process of development of products from initial stages until delivery. Next, I just want to have a big shout on my next slide to Dubai Internet City, especially for Mrs. Abir, who supported us. And I would like, please, you to remember the Instagram page, the Twitter page, and LinkedIn and Facebook pages for Dubai Internet City, and share with us your thoughts and impressions about this event. We will be just giving some few housekeeping rules that we won't have any questions live on the microphone. We will keep all questions till the end for me and for our both speakers. If you have any urgent questions you would like to share, you can share it on the quick chat box within the Zoom webinar portal, and we will be answering those questions at the end. Thank you very much, and welcome, Dimitri. I'll hand over the mic to you.
Thank you, Daniel, for the warm introduction, and thank you, Dubai Internet City, our host in business and in today's webinar. So let us move on with the immersive story with virtual reality training across enterprises. I hear and I forget, I see and I remember, I do and I understand. This ancient phrase by Confucius, the Chinese philosopher. It has been with us more than 1,000 years, and the basic principle can be extended through the use of technologies, how to do things without actually doing them when it's less convenient. So Thursday afternoon is not the time to be dead serious. So today I will share with you a story of a hero. She is the new hire in the digital transformation department of a holding company. And she is very passionate about virtual reality, which is no wonder because she happens to be a 3D animated character. So Masha wants to implement virtual reality in her organization. And she meets the first friend who can help her on this journey. And this friend is Google. So she goes to Google and checks how to implement virtual reality in the enterprise. And certainly there are quite a few interesting findings that she got. Always it's good to start with the analysts, right? Because the analysts know everything about everything. And one of the top results is Gartner saying that, okay, 50% of the enterprises are already either using virtual reality or are seriously considering. And given this is a couple of years old data, she understands that she better be in a hurry because otherwise it's not a digital transformation if it's already implemented by everyone. So she digs deeper and finds out why. So how do those technologies belong in the enterprise? And there she has her first light bulb moment. She understands that the biggest use case is training. So obviously she decides to focus on that because like who is already doing those kind of projects? And there is Siemens, there is Caterpillar, DHL, American Airlines, Walmart. So those guys, the industry leaders, probably can't be wrong. So she continues digging deeper in the virtual reality training direction. And there is another study by another big name, PricewaterhouseCoopers, who did a thorough 60-page report on how virtual reality compares to the traditional classroom-based training. And the results are more than promising. So she is very excited that like 3 times more people are confident to act on what they've been trained after receiving the VR education versus conventional ways. Then it's 4 times faster on average, whereas people are 4 times more focused and more emotionally connected to this experience. I believe a big part of it is that it's very hard to distract you while you're receiving the virtual reality experience because you have a device that is basically your entire field of view. So once you are immersed in the training, you are immersed until you take off the headset, you're on task. Whereas if you're in a classroom or much worse in the webinar, there are so many ways to get distracted. I really hope that you guys are not checking your Instagram and Facebook right at this moment. So the studies show that VR training is better because it's engaging, it's not just learning by watching, it's learning by doing, and it can be much quicker because it's practically oriented by design, and there is a lot of actionable insights that you can get from the training as a trainee and also as a supervisor if this is like in education or in the industry. So she is convinced on the idea. And this is where Masha meets me, the sales guy, who explains how VR training is actually done, how to create this software product. Of course, it always starts with a strategy. Then, like, why are we doing this? What goals we plan to achieve? Why there is a need to improve the way people are being trained in the organization. Then, of course, there has to be the data, the curriculum that will be put into the virtual reality. Then goes weeks, sometimes months of content production, of video, photo shooting, modeling, tuning, programming, etc. Then probably comes in Daniel and his friends helping with the hardware setup and the overall classroom experience. And the training starts with the delivery and performance analysis, and then constant enhancements, and maybe bringing more topics to the virtual reality. This is closer to how we do it. So when we are tasked with developing a virtual simulator, we always conduct a thorough pre-project examination. It can be slightly less depending on the industry, or slightly more if this is some kind of huge engagement. Then we normally go with the first stage or MVP, where the customer gets his team to receive maybe one module of desired training to check the experience and get a buy-in from all stakeholders of the organization. Because when implementing any innovation, it's not about technology being working perfectly. It's in many cases about people willing to use the technology, and getting them excited early on and getting feedback as early as possible is very important. And then there goes the full implementation. That sounds quite complex to Masha, our hero, because it's not just about the VR, some headset, some program that you download. It's first and foremost, it's about like understanding what value the students should get from training, and thoroughly assessing the existing process and maybe gaps in it. Then there is equipment and the infrastructure. Then there are headsets. Sometimes there are graphic stations, some accessories and external equipment. To get the biggest value out of it as a company, as a corporation, it usually needs to be integrated with enterprise systems. One time I remember we integrated such training with the learning management portal of a customer and with the access control system. So basically, until you complete the training, it's not reflected on the portal, and your access card doesn't unlock the area where the dangerous equipment is. So definitely, it's not a standalone solution. It should be integrated in the whole induction and upskilling process. Okay, Masha is quite bought in, and she understands how VR trainings are done, but what's next? Next is always we have to start with a problem. There are so many nice enhancements that can be done in any organization and in any person's lives, but there is always a priority, right? Some things are more important to us than the others. And in her particular case, she looks at the industrial arm of her holding company, because people are operating the dangerous equipment there, and unfortunately there are accidents happening. And this is not just a problem of her company, this is a global problem. So health and safety is still much to be improved. Definitely, I mean, our society is becoming safer in general, and the lifespan is increasing, but still, sadly enough, there are people who are losing life and getting some life-changing injuries every day. So if new technology can help in that direction, that can probably be a priority. What's more important than the human life? And the second aspect of it is the downtime, because accidents with complex equipment, even if it's doesn't affect personnel, those can be very costly, especially if we're talking about some critical enterprises, something that should be working around the clock. So can VR simulator be the solution? Probably yes, for all the reasons above. When you are recreating the complex machinery, industrial enterprise in the virtual reality, you can do so many things that are totally not possible in real life. My friend Ilya will talk about it in more details, so I will keep it high level for now. once we identify the topic that we will do the HSE training and we will focus on the complicated equipment, what can we do, how the actual workers can benefit from it. Employee onboarding, introductory training, then maintenance, the regular operations, emergency response, health and safety drills. All those things can be done in VR more effectively than in real life or worse in the classroom. So what are the key findings that Masha has out of interaction with me being the sales guy and my friend Google? So VR is a safe environment. In VR, you can practice as many times as you want and get better and better without actually this costing more, unlike in the classroom-based training or to a certain extent in online training as well. It's quite memorable because you are fully immersed and you are doing similar things. And for your brain, if the training quality is good, it's like 95% the same as touching the same controls in real life. What's quite important is you totally understand what's happening with the trainee in the VR training process, because you can track so many things. With the HTC technology, you can track the eyeball movement, so you understand what the trainees are focusing on, and maybe you can tweak your training experience if they're not kind of focusing on some areas of the content that are important. It's possible in both the individual and in collaborative mode. Still, the individual training is more widespread. It's a bit easier technically, but with the current technology enhancements and with the 5G also coming to us, multi-user experiences are getting more and more popular. We are working with some customers in that direction as well. And most importantly, this is a proven innovation already. So this is something that is safe to implement because the industry pioneers, leaders have already implemented it and talked about the benefits, the actual business results they got out of the training. So in this case, when I come talk to the customers about virtual reality training, it's very easy for me to answer the question that I'm puzzled a lot. So when I come to them and say, okay, here is a unique solution first in the world, they say, okay, fine, we like it. Where did you implement it before? With virtual reality training, the answer is in many places. And with that said, I would like to pass on the microphone to Ilya, who is a true expert and who will share all the dirty details of the virtual reality training implementation.
Yes, thank you very much, Dimitri. It was very insightful, and as you mentioned, very high level for people who would like to really understand more about evaluating venturing into XR. Before jumping into Ilya's presentation, we've got a short poll that we will ask our audience to answer. A couple of questions, please. Can you just launch the poll and get some answers? The poll is in front of you. We've got a few seconds. If you please answer those questions.
Yes, thanks. Thank you very much, Alex. While our audience asking this question, I also would love to start introduce myself personally. And okay, we have many people from education and oil, gas also. Others. So let me introduce myself, and we have another two questions, and I will ask the organizer to start them. So before it, what I set up two targets for. Oh my God. Okay, I set up two targets for this webinar for myself. First target, first objective is to provide my knowledge and experience in this field, in virtual reality field, in training solution field, and many others, other knowledge. So I can provide in 20 minutes. So talking about virtual reality solutions, I can hours, but I have only 20 minutes to do it. So, and another objective is to answer your questions. So, okay, that's great. Most of the audience want to use to listen about use cases. So here I am, and this is my target to provide you use cases and how to implement them in company, in the huge enterprises. So I ask you really answer me questions in the chat, or you can even, I don't know, in the end, if you want to ask me personal question, we can ask an organizer to unmute you and you will ask them. So use chat, please. If you hear me wrong, just type also. I will do something to change. If you can hear me well, just type plus or something in the chat, and I will continue. Okay, I'm 30 years old, and in these 30 years, I work with the industry business more than 10 years. So 4 years I worked in Russian space industry as a designer of equipment, and more than 7 years I work already in VR and AR field. So I started to work before this equipment because before this like new generation VR with already modern helmets. I worked with VR when it was cave systems. So it was like a room for virtual reality, not just helmet on a head. So I'm running this business, so I'm responsible for everything that regarding VR, AR in our company. And we work in the market more than 7 years and do 10 projects in a year. So we have developers, we have analysts, and like whole team who can provide solution. And we are represented in 4 countries, including Russia and the MENA region, UAE, Saudi Arabia, Bahrain. So we understand how market work in Russia and in UAE also. So, and my experience is not about games mostly. My experience connected to hazardous industries, huge enterprises with continuous production and implementation of virtual reality solutions in this field. So, but my today my presentation will be not only for industry. So industry is like example where we implement VR solution. You can use this methodology of implementation that I will provide in every industry. So because it's almost the same for everyone. But our segment is oil and gas, chemical, petrochemical, all hazardous industries that can face some problems with people who can do wrong things, and it will affect on business, on ecology, on something that can stop production. And virtual reality simulator, Dmitry already mentioned it, what it is. So it's software and hardware solution that can, in combination, can simulate real processes in the industry. For example, you can work with the compressors, how to set up it, how to start, how to stop it, how to shut down. You can work with electrical equipment, and many scenarios that can be simulated in virtual reality in safe way. So, and let's go to use cases. Already done project that we provided for companies, and they already use it. So first use case is, unfortunately, I cannot name the company, but it's the hugest oil and gas company in the region. The problem was that when people while onboarding people, employees to this production, to this enterprise, it's really difficult to explain them how equipment works. So how equipment, compressors, distillation columns, and so on and so on. And this problem affecting on how they perform in the future. So that's why we solved this problem, this challenge with the VR training solution that includes 5 types of equipment. We can show them all the process inside. They can not only see it, they can use like joysticks and to choose to use disassembly, manual assembling, and what is inside, how processes are going inside. So I just want to show you some pictures to understand how it works. Here also we can add drawings and so on. So it's like independent training solution to educate people to work in the real life. The second use case you can see it's huge plant under construction. It's a petrochemical plant. There are 15,000 constructors from 5 countries, so are participating in this construction. And the main problem of the construction is working on a high altitude. Many falls can be during this process, and the second is moving heavy loads. It's also dangerous work. So, and the problem is not only that it's quite dangerous work, dangerous process. The problem is when these people come to construction from these many countries and companies, it's difficult to test their knowledge and their practice skills, how they can work on the high altitude, how they use protection gears, and so on. So that's why we provided solution for training people, for testing them and educating them. So all of these people, thousands of people, they go through virtual reality training right in this field, not in the training center, right in this enterprise plant, close to construction. So it can simulate training for moving heavy loads and how to do steps on high altitude, how to use protection gears. It looks like this, just a classroom inside the administration building, right close to construction. People use head-mounted displays. They use powerful PC, and they put on the head-mounted display and simulate all the process. So it's already working. It's not just just nice picture to test. It's already working, and we have many results. How people they have document, for example, that they can allow them to work on a high altitude, but they cannot repeat all these practice skills in the VR. So, and then we find this gap of knowledge. So third use case we are doing in Dubai. So also I cannot name the client, but the training is for training of operators, how to operate all the plant, and how to equip, how to maintain equipment, dynamic equipment that needs to repair and maintain every year. So, and the last use case for today, we have many use cases, but I can provide only a few. It's connected to electrical equipment. So if we talk about dangerous work in enterprises, there are actually 2. Working on high altitude and working with electrical equipment. So, and the problem is to become an experienced electrician, it takes more than 4 years of onboarding, 4 years onboarding to become independent electrician who can work independently in the facility. And this is the problem, really, because people they are moving, so they are coming to company and they are leaving the company. So, and every time company, they need to have an inexperienced personnel. So what we've done, we provided virtual reality training also, which simulates all the electrical substation and help people to practice their skills in virtual reality. So, and the idea is that they have almost the same virtual copy that they have in real facility, and they do the steps that they need to do after they finish this training. So, okay, next. And I have not enough time, I think, but I will go through methodology. So I showed you use cases, and I want to provide you the main idea of how to implement these projects in the company, how to start from idea to the real product. So, and every time we face these three questions from the client, from people, when we start doing these projects. How to start, and what will be the value after we implement it, and how to scale if we, for example, understand that it's useful for us. And the answer is, from many companies, is let's do pilot project. Okay, it's right way, but pilot projects can be really different in different companies. In the beginning of pilot projects, it can be only technology. For example, I know that we are a school, let's do something. I know that I need already product in the end of the pilot project, or I have an idea of something. And it's quite mix of pilot project that we face on the industry. It can be huge, it can be small, it can be effective, it can be, I don't know, fail in the end. And I can list top mistakes in the beginning that we face from company who buys the solution and companies who sell the solutions. So the first is sell or buy technology. Technology means VR or AR. VR is a technology. So it's better to sell and buy solutions of problems. And then if VR can help to fix this issue or challenge, then we can name it solution. If it doesn't fit to problems, it's only technology. So second is focusing on a company challenge. For example, dangerous work, or I don't know, losing some budget. It's a company problem. But in company, there work people, real people, and these people, they have their own problems on the place, because company problem. And when we go to a real person, he has another problems, but it can be the same problems, but they so for him it's the sounds in another way. So, and the idea is we need to speak to each person who will use it, who will be implementing the product, and to try to help him or her on the place. So, and the third problem is not to use metrics. Metrics so doing some projects without understanding what will be the results, which metrics will be used in the next, what will change, what will our product change. So, and in the end of mistakes, so take a huge scope from the beginning. It's real big problem, because many companies we see, they provide RFP to the market, and in this RFP we can see, I don't know, really huge scope. And the problem is they cannot find subcontractor who will do the scope, and they cannot understand what price will be. Price can be, I don't know, 1,000 to millions. So, and the problem is that that market of VR AR is not so stable, and he's not so. So the idea is in this market, many companies who can, I don't know, work with only 3D graphic, and there are professional companies who work on developing training solutions. And understanding of task of this scope is absolutely different for these two companies. So the idea is to take small scope of work and to understand how it will work, and then to take huge scope. So, and 5, development by internal team only. We see that companies, they develop their own teams and doing projects by internal teams. But the problem is, if to use only the internal development team, they are not going to the market. They don't see many, I don't know, outstanding ideas. They're not competing. So that's why it would be great to have development team internally, but the better is to use also external knowledge, external companies. And also to use only external without developing your own competence, it's also a problem. So it can be both internal team and external teams or companies. So Daniel, just let me know if I'm going to.
You're good on time. You've got another. I can say you can have another 4 to 5 minutes.
Okay, I will go faster. So Dmitry already showed you this methodology that we created for our projects. It has 3 stages, but the idea is if we follow this methodology, so this is like not guarantee, but it's close to guarantee to face understandable result, to control this result on each stage. And I will explain you how. Let's skip it because it's already we already talked about. So I will provide you with the determination qualification. In every stage, we use this qualification. So what qualification means? So qualification is determination. It's making sure that we are doing right thing. So we are doing right projects, and we have enough data on each stage to proceed, to continue working. So for example, if we designed on first stage training solution, but design it's not enough. We need to have analytics from the business processes. We need to understand what problem do we solve, why it's a problem, so how we will measure this damage, and what will happen if we keep it unfixed. So if you do nothing, what will happen in I don't know, in a year and in 2 years. So in next stage, for example, when we provided some MVP or some pilot project, we need to understand, do we solve the problem that client faced to us? So how we how our solution fits to the problem, and what are the next steps? And after we answer these questions, it's really difficult questions, to be honest. If we, when we're trying to answer all of them, we find problems like connected to these questions, not only to implementing VR solutions. And the final stage, we need to answer, is it what we were looking for in the beginning? So, and also practical questions, how to scale the solution to the company if company is big, and who will support in the next stage. Who will support? Will it be external company who will support the solution, or it will be internal competence that we need to develop? So the idea is, if we follow this methodology and answer all these questions, I mean, it can be a company who sell or provide this technology solution. It can be a company who buy it for yourself. Answering these questions, so help to have some useful, not just technology for technology. So this is my idea that I wanted to provide you. And now it would be great to answer your question if there are some. So
Thank you, Ilya. Thank you, Dimitri. I mean, a few things that I take away with me from this presentation, and we, as HTC, we face a lot with customers when we meet them, and they have like a requirement of a VR solution. And you mentioned them in the mistakes, especially when we talk about the proof of concept. They come and say, okay, we want a POC, let's apply. And then they think that this POC will solve the problem. And then at the same time, they want everything in this POC. And sometimes, and let's put it clearly, they believe that those POCs are like a small demo that will not cost anything, and we will see how we think, while the POC is really at the core of the development. The second point that I take away also, what I really liked, and I always face it with customers, is that when you mentioned about after the POC, the issue is that they think that their internal team are capable to build these kind of solutions. Maybe they have the capability, maybe they have the capacity, but the way you and other partners who are specialized in these VR applications are the best to really judge, know, and dedicate your time out of your experience with others and your full focus on this problem, where you can get it done. And most importantly is that people are focusing on some goals that are related. Yes, as you said, the share price of the company is going down, so they are building a VR solution to solve something that's irrelevant. So yes, very insightful. Thank you both. I've got few questions that that have been asked. I have answered some privately about generic what HTC is offering in the market. But one of the questions that came is that are you able to name few projects that were implemented in the United Arab Emirates, and in which sector or vertical were it? Was it training? Whether was it location-based entertainment? In what field was it?
I can answer the question, Daniel. I cannot say the names of the customers openly, but the biggest project we have so far, it's still under delivery. It's for a utility company here in Dubai, and it's a very sophisticated virtual reality training integrated with the digital twin of the whole plant. Then we worked with a municipality in other emirate. Then we worked with law enforcement. Then we worked with oil and gas, the biggest oil and gas company that Ilya already showed in his slides. If you go to our YouTube channel, actually, you will see the videos of some of our virtual reality implementations. Probably Lyubov can post a link to our YouTube channel. We didn't show them deliberately in the webinar because kind of it glitches a lot when you try to play the video over Zoom. But I think Ilya's screenshots were quite visual as well.
Understood. Thank you. Ilya, you mentioned a lot about challenges that those companies they might face, and how you advise them and support them. And we have seen more and more adoption of VR in enterprises nowadays. And a lot of the challenges, solutions you have showed on your slide, will this be applied to all type of businesses and sectors, and at any size? And today, do you encourage small startups to start integrating VR in their training, and why?
Sorry, Daniel.
Please, let's allow 2 minutes for every question, because I'm getting many questions. Yes.
Yeah, we have a question in the chat.
No, this question. I'm reading the questions for you. So
okay.
I'll repeat the question. We have seen more and more adoption of VR in enterprises. You have mentioned different challenges and how to overcome them. Will this be applied of all types of businesses and sectors from different sizes? And today, let's say if you are a small startup, would you encourage them to start integrating VR in their training? If yes, why?
Oh, difficult question. I mean, if you are startup, do you need to use VR or to be honest, I have 7 years, more than 7 years of experience in VR AR field. And before we focused on enterprise training solutions for industrial sector, we did many projects for, I don't know, for visualization, for applications, I don't know, for advertising, for marketing, and so on. To be honest, if we talk about training solutions, it works more efficient for huge companies where the like people mistake can affect on the process really in really so it can be huge damage if people doing something wrong. So, and these solutions for training, they're more effective for huge enterprises and dangerous plants and facilities. If we talk about training for, I don't know, for some daily routine things like selling or, I don't know, soft skills or something like this. So there are solutions on the market, but they are not like customized projects. It's better to go for already products, already made products, and to buy some licenses and to test it.
I understand.
So this is the answer. I think if we talk about startups, it's better to use something about soft skills.
Yeah. Yes, and to add to what you mentioned exactly, I mean, we have a platform of applications provided by our partners. It's called Viveport, where you can visit viveport.com and see the list of like the beta or the intro or even the paid applications, what's available for mass. And there are few training applications, but exactly as you mentioned, Elias, they are very generic. Some are soft skills that someone wants to improve their own presentation skills or communication skills. But when it comes to specific industry technical skills, you have to go for a customized solution. Another questions I would like to ask, and typically on a VR implementation, do you charge by project? Or will it be other technology services where you have licensing models?
Yeah, this question is really important for us, and this business model is, I mean, the problem for this VR AR market is really business model. This is the big problem of the whole market, because if to follow this business model of like customized projects that we follow now, the problem is the scaling of the development team or cost for development. It's almost the same as the revenue that you get. So, but the problem is not, it's difficult to find some product that can be like common for many industries or markets. So we are following this way. We're trying to find this common product. For example, in energy industry for electrical personnel, we're already on this way to find something common and to provide it as a box solution. But if we talk about hard skills and enterprises, it's almost all of the project that we go by development, so by custom development, because we need to digitalize the same plant or the same equipment that people have in their facility. So that's why the problem of the market is there are no like box solutions for everything. There are only for just common things that it's possible to buy. If you talk about something difficult, something customized, so
thank you.
We need to go to development.
Understand. On this, HTC Vive started thinking about these small things along with our partners. Maybe not very relevant to industries, but we've launched our XR Suite application, which are set of applications that you can purchase on license. And those applications are more or less generic to a wider audience. Unlike the customized solution, they are for more or less a wider audience. I will send the actual link from our global website on the chat, and people can explore and ask any questions later. I have another question mentioning that Is it possible to integrate VR in packaging industry? And I think the answer is yes. Ilya, if you can quickly in 30 seconds answer this.
I think, yeah, the answer is short, yes, but also it's better to follow this methodology, to ask yourself, why do you need it? What the critical process we need to improve. So this is the idea. If we follow this methodology every time we have an idea, so we will answer, do we need or not? The answer is yes, it's possible, but which problem will we solve, and what process will we improve, and how we measure the result? This is the best question.
Understand. Thank you. I have another question, and maybe this question is for HTC Vive. People want to know more about when extensive use of VR will affect nausea, or will affect the people's ability to focus. How is this going, and this monitored, and how it's improved? I'll answer very quickly on this, because we are the provider of the hardware, and with our partners, they optimize the actual solution based on the hardware capability. If I want to go back in the hardware, when it started with a smartphone plugged in a headset, and the smartphone processor is generating the graphics, yes, at that time it was an experience very limited to the capability of the smartphones. Now with our headset, the graphic capability and the frame rate has improved dramatically to meet exactly the eye component experience, as well as the field of view when people is looking into a VR experience. I urge you to start and to experience more and more Vive headsets, so you can see the difference and how the technology is improving. I have a couple of questions to end with, and this question is to Dimitri. Dimitri, as a general manager overlooking the business side, the Middle East, and especially UAE, has a young generation of software developers, including game developers. But what message do you have for them? And how do you want to encourage them to take jobs in XR development for enterprises after seeing all of these challenges that you guys mentioned today?
Challenges means opportunities who are able to overcome those challenges. I urge the young developers to Google for the salaries of XR coders and for the demand. So of course, I don't know if you're Android developer on Kotlin or Java developer. There can be like hundreds of thousands of such jobs worldwide. Obviously, VR is still a smaller market, but the demand for the specialists is huge, and the talent is scarce. So Ilya can confirm, because he is a hiring manager. So he probably has, I don't know, hundreds of interviews to get a few guys on board of his team. So certainly this is a growing market, and we are, I mean, those problems that Ilya mentioned, these are not actually problems. These are the stages of development. If some of you remember 90s, I mean, every company had their own accounting software. They would hire a programmer who would write an accounting software for them. Then there was a consolidation. Then there were maybe, I don't know, 100 providers. Now there are just a few giants. There were so many text processors until, you know, Microsoft Word completely conquered the market. In VR, the same thing is happening. So now there are a lot of like models being created across the industries. At some point of time, there will be a huge marketplace combining all the models, and it will be similar to mobile development these days, where you have a lot of APIs, a lot of web services. You can, I mean, as a startup, you can you even have a low code or no code software where you can build a fairly sophisticated user experience without knowing how to program at all. So virtual reality is getting there, and certainly this is a very exciting area to be in. way more exciting than writing accounting software, I think.
Gentlemen, thank you very much, and I want to thank all your audience, all the audience for the very interesting questions. We're still getting questions, but due to the time restrictions, we cannot ask more questions. I just wanted to check if there is any additional poll to be sent. Otherwise, I would remind you to the Instagram pages and the Twitter for Dubai Internet City, the LinkedIn and Facebook account Dubai Internet City. The poll is live now. You can answer, please, if you take a few seconds to answer it. And finally, I would like to thank again Dubai Internet City, represented by Mrs. Abir, and the management from NNTC, Mr. Elia and Mr. Dimitri, who were my honored guests on this session. And hopefully we'll meet up in future events and activation. And we've shared with you all the website, the links, the QR codes. If you have any future further questions, please do not hesitate to ask us. Thank you very much, everyone, and bye-bye.